Everybody knows this brand because of its slogan, but for me, I have never tested these clubs on the channel. But today I have two of the best looking irons I've seen all year. Performance just like that, but there's a big issue of why we don't see enough of these golf clubs. And the brand in question today is Mizuno, because nothing feels like a Mizuno, or that is what they say. Because for me, I've never really tested Mizuno on the channel, and there's a big reason why. Here in the UK, it's extremely hard to find somewhere that fits these clubs or has them even in the pro shop. So straight away there, they're not easy to get hold of. But guys, if you have got a set of Mizunos, get in those comments below and let me know where you got fitted, how are you getting on with the clubs, and which ones have you gone for. Today I have two different irons. I have a forgiving iron and I have a player's iron. And for me, we're going to see which one comes out on top. I have tested these clubs over the last couple of days, and for me, there is a clear winner. But there's also another big talking point. Now, the first clubs in question are what you've just seen off that tee box, and they are the blacked out Forge JPX 925 irons. So again, I've never really tested the JPX range. The only time I've seen them with James Robinson many years ago when he had them in the bag for a long time. And I know a lot of people from Mizuno or have played Mizuno say that often they don't really change the looks. But for me, these look absolutely fantastic behind the golf ball. Again, they sit incredibly well. But here we've got a lot of forgiveness. So we're going to talk through the technology in this video. This club right here has been so easy to hit. It's been easy to play different shots with, and it's easy for me to say that these could go into my golf bag because they make the game effortless, which they have felt good. They have felt, let's say, like a Mizuno, if that is a feeling. But because you can't really get hold of these, but there's another brand that we tested recently on the channel, in Trixon, which I would say is the closest that will come to this, because again in the UK, incredibly hard to find somewhere that maybe fits Trixon. Again, they do now at my home golf club at Lindrick, but that's one of the very rare places that I have seen the range. And it's the same with Mizuno. I don't know anywhere in my area where I could go and get fitted for these. We don't have them at Waterfront. We don't have them at Lindrick, so straight away there, the two places I go to most often don't have them in. They don't even have them in at Woolley Park, where I also do film. So for me, straight away, they're hard to get. They do feel good, they are performing good, but the big talking point also with these clubs is price. They're not cheap. So if we talk about the JPX irons first, we have them coming in at around about £1,199. That's for a 5 to pitching weight, so that is for just 6 clubs. So coming in straight away at £200 a club. You can add a 4-iron in there, you can also add a gap wedge in there, so quickly that's up to £1,600. That is correct. Dave would have fallen off his chair, or he probably has fallen off his chair watching this video, because £1,600 from me, yes, Mizuno have got the name. We know obviously they've got a lot of technology in there. We know they are incredibly good looking clubs, but for that money, you'll be putting them in the realms of PXGs, which we know every time people mention PXG, a lot of people's response straight away is they're expensive. But I have to say, they do feel good. But for £1,600, are we going to be putting those into your golf bag? And when we get to the Mizuno Pro S3 irons, we've got a similar issue. So if we quickly talk about some technology in these clubs, we do know these JPX 925 Forge irons do have the revolutionary Cortex design, featuring a contoured elapsed face, which gives us basically a multi-thickness face profile, which gives Mizuno the ability to bridge the gap between the hot metal series, which were absolute rockets and the unmatched feel of those forged irons. We do have grain flow forge, we do have the triple cut sole, we do have a better, superior turf interaction, and we still get explosive distance, but a super soft forged feel. Which all of those features are fantastic, and they do give us the forgiveness, they do give us the feel, but obviously at that price, it makes you start to think, because Mizuno aren't known for marketing, they're not known for all the adverts on the TV, you don't maybe see them even in the hands of multiple players on tour. So straight away there they've got a premium price. I'm not saying it's not a premium product, but you don't see it everywhere. And again, a lot of people want tour validation potentially when you're buying clubs, and also people want value. Can you pick another set of golf clubs up from a different brand for the same kind of technology for a lot less? And don't get me wrong, it's been incredibly easy to get a steady par down here on the second hole at Waterfront. 2 5-irons, a little chip pitching wedge in here, and it gave me a chance. So it has performed. But I know there's a lot of people thinking you can get better value. Now if we compare that for these clubs to the brand we mentioned earlier, so if we compare them to the Srixon ZXi 5s, you can see on the same website, Affordable Golf, we can get a 4-iron to gap wedge, so 8 irons for £1,258. So straight away there, we're getting 2 clubs more for the price of these JPX 925s. Straight away, have Srixon pipped them with that price point? We can't argue with the looks, we can't argue with the performance. For me, I can't argue with the feel. Perfect interaction there with the ground, and these clubs do feel fantastic. They do tick a lot of boxes, but obviously the box that most people want to know about is how much is it going to cost them out of their pockets. But now we have the Mizuno Pro S3 irons. Again, a fantastic looking golf club, but we can see a total different look from the top. So a thin top edge, not much offset, and not the longest of blade lengths. And for me, I played 9 holes with them yesterday, and it certainly was a different display of golf, because when we talk about who these clubs are designed for, we think straight away the JPX 925s are going to be for mid-handicap golfers. I would potentially put those in my golf bag. Yes, they're slightly stronger lofted, but the performance is incredibly easy. So it's easy to get the ball launching. You don't feel like you have to be swinging at your best. If you're a golfer who can only get out at weekends, you have a couple of shots in the nets, then those clubs could work perfect for you, because you're going to get that performance. The Mizuno Pro S3s certainly require a better strike pattern. And I like to think that strike pattern is not something I worry about too much. But yesterday I was certainly found out that if you are slightly off your game, then these clubs are going to let you know. But again, feel of that fantastic. You can see straight away there the differences in flight. We do have weaker lofts here, so we do have more loft on this 7-iron than we do with the JPX. It feels incredibly soft off the face, just on the left-hand side of the green. So far, so good. And again there, ticking boxes. Fantastic looking, performance-wise. Did feel fantastic off the face when you strike it well. I certainly found yesterday, if you didn't strike it well, you quickly lost quite a bit of distance. But talking point massively here is if you go 4-iron to gap wedge, you're looking at £1,576 on Affordable Golf. And again, you'll go on there, it does say that they start from, because often they put in there 5-iron to pitching wedge. So to get a full set for me, which you could easily do with both sets of these, depending what kind of level golfer you are, you're certainly stumping up a lot of money for me. Can you get better options? I would say you can get more affordable options. Although they do feel fantastic, I wouldn't say they feel any better than any of the other clubs. More to the point, performance-wise, are they performing any better? You still have to put a good golf swing on these to perform. So although for ticking the boxes, and I would say performance tick, looks tick, price unfortunately is a cross for me. Forgiveness on the JPX 925s, a massive tick. So there's a lot of ticks, there's not many crosses. I'm not so sure they'll be going in my bag. And up here on the green, that misstruck JPX 925 is only just short of pin high, and this is where for me it shows how good those irons actually are for forgiveness. Here we have the Mizuno Pro S3, so again just short of pin high. That was well struck. That shows you the differences in loft. So when you're thinking about getting irons, make sure you look at what lofts are on these irons. They can be up to 3, 4, 5 degrees difference in different sets of irons on anybody's range. Now it probably sounds that I'm being very negative, but again I am a Yorkshireman and we do like to count the pennies, and I think this is more mid-handicap Dave rubbing off on me, because I know exactly what he would be thinking and what he would be saying. He would absolutely love the JPX irons. He would think they look fantastic, they feel fantastic, but he wouldn't part with his money. But again, if you have that budget where you're happy to spend a little bit more and go for these irons, then they're going to last for a long time. I think obviously these are some of the best irons that I've seen out this year. I think whether you're a scratch golfer or a lower figure handicap golfer, then these Mizuno Pro S3s could certainly suit your eye, because they do look good behind the golf ball. You just need to know that forgiveness is maybe not as much as we're going to get from the JPX, which you will understand when you're buying these. And the JPX irons, again, for a mid-handicap golfer or even a single-figure golfer who maybe is losing a little bit of speed, or even somebody like myself, and I don't play as often as I should, I don't play competitions much, but when I do, I don't feel like I've had to practice much to get those straight out, know what I'm going to get, know I'm going to get that distance that's going to be pretty much where the pin is, and I can only blame myself for direction. I only have enjoyed that feel, and I do understand exactly what they mean with how soft they feel, just up the right hand side there, and that's exactly what I'm expecting. Good interaction with the turf with both sets of irons. Don't overlook Mizuno, because they do produce some absolutely fantastic golf clubs, and if that's your price point, if you want to spend a little bit more money and get the premium feel and looks that these Mizunos do provide, then I would certainly consider going and trying to get fitted for those. Guys, get in those comments below. Have you got Mizunos? Which Mizunos have you got? And where did you get fitted? Because it's certainly something that I see a lot, because we don't know where you can get hold of these clubs.